Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to Shadowhunters Season 4, Episode 8, or 318, titled The Beast Within. On Halloween night, Simon's sister keeps a tradition alive. Clary suffers when she's separated from Jace, and Alec must make a big decision about Magnus. Okay, so I don't know what the Simon and Becky is alluding to because I don't think Halloween is the anniversary of their dad's death, and I don't know any relation between Jewish and Halloween, so I don't know what that could be unless she just wants to go trick or treating with her brother. Clary suffers when she's separated from Jace. I don't know what that could be alluding to. And Alec must make a big decision about Magnus, which is probably still in relation to the proposing to him, whether he's going to wait for him to be in a better mental state or do it now. But I guess we'll find out in 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Might help if I turn my headphones on. Oh, is Jordan coming back? Or are we continuing on with this Heidi storyline? Could be both. Ah, that could be the suffering. Succumbing more to the rune with Jace not there to pull her back. Of course she's dressed up as a vampire. You really want him to vamp out properly? that... Hmm. It's like a crab. By that I mean it was willingly sacrifice its own limb to get out of a situation. Because I've seen many videos of crabs cutting off their own claws when they get injured or trapped. Or maybe something's kicked him out. Something that may have been living in the sewers. Hmm. He knows you're just trying to keep him distracted, but... Mm, it's fair. That's a sketchy reaction. Nah. He was hoping you'd say you wanted him to stay. Hmm. Hmm. Is that the first time we've heard his middle name in the show? I mean, you break up with him. Hmm. Always putting that caveat in. Well, I should say, at least they're actually putting that caveat in instead of just the implied that a lot of other things have. Magic. I would more flash the claws, but sparkly eyes is fine. I thought they were going to inject Clary with it. Alright, I forgot he got released. Unfortunately, he's gonna need to leave after this, isn't he? How does that gag actually work? basically a concentrate. Hmm. Again, at least they established this first up. I've been really good with English today. Hmm. Here's the thing with demons. They always work on loopholes. So if Alec were to tell Jace about the deal, and then Jace were to tell Magnus, technically that's not Alec telling. Ah, so that made it stronger. Hmm. I did joke about her turning this into a halfway house for ex Shadow, but hmm. How do you have access to? Ah, right. How do you? Hmm. Melion, why did you ring up? It's an interesting thing from Maliorn. I wouldn't have expected him to have any fondness towards Clary. Unless he's warning against the wrath brought down by those she's close to. Here's the thing. Even if he doesn't tell Magnus about the fact that this was Asmodeus's condition, him breaking up with him, and then Magnus automatically getting his powers and immortality back, he'd figure it out on his own. Hmm. I do have to wonder how things are going to happen if they go the same route. Well, now you've seen the dangers of the Shadow World. All right, I forgot that they'd met already. Becky. I mean, Clary, Maya. Take Simon with you. Nice of you to have confidence in your brother. Well, this is very alien-esque. Ah, so this is where the thumbnail comes from. Did she just keep her daggers in her back pocket? Oh, right, they extend. Never mind. Yeah, well, that's an issue. I'm guessing that's the queen. Ah, they pop out fully grown, do they? Is she not gonna be there? Oh no. Don't do it, Alec. Especially not with what your mum said to him. I don't think he's able to do that, considering he still has feelings for you. It's funny how she says, being a good person makes you a great beta, considering, today's connotations with the word. So, I mean, you're being weird. Yep. How is this going to go? Oh, well. That's one way to get down to the holding cells. I mean, that is one way to save him from dying, is to have Clary portal in. And also, you've left them with the apartment. I mean, technically, what Alex saying is true. He is doing this because of. Now, technically, Asmodeus didn't give a time frame as to when he'd give them back. Dang it, Alec. That was definitely not the symbol she was drawing on that. And you're dead. Well, that was not how I was expecting this to end. I really thought they were not going to do the full corruption because of the rune, but instead they were just drawing it out. I honestly wasn't expecting them to do any Simon and Isabel stuff because, well, that there's not much time to build on that. Like, sure, they've had the entire framework of the series to do it, but most of that he was in love with Clary. Then he was with Maya. They didn't have the whole. He was like infatuated with Isabel when he first met her, and basically acting like a pet for her. Not really, but at his level of how he looked at her. This is coming from Clary, and there was a lot of animosity between Clary and Isabel at the start, so it's not really a reliable narration. But then they had the whole him dating her and Maya at the same time, ending up breaking up with both of them, and then getting back together with Isabel. That happened in the book. This was instead in love with Clary for most of it, with Maya, mutually broke up, decided to swear off love, then almost instantly be like, oh shit, I like Isabel. But, yeah, that was always endgame, those two. Just like Jason Clary and Alec and Magnus. It was always going to happen. They did break up in the books, but it was more because of Alec. It's actually the opposite almost of what is happening in the show, because Alec was jealous over the fact that Magnus had so many exes, and like there were things around the apartment because the like almost a token of that relationship. And Alec was so uncomfortable that he was actually going to Camille to try and figure out a way to take away Magnus's immortality just so that he could grow old with him. And yeah, heading into the final book, they were actually broken up because Magnus found out what Alec was doing. Whereas this, they're breaking up so that Alec can get Magnus his immortality back. I just think that's funny. And there's actually a really important line in the book that happened in an interaction between Simon and Alec, I think in book 6, where Simon's like, you have issue with Magnus being immortal because you two won't be able to spend much time in the grand scheme of his life. That's not actually what he said. He's like, you can't grow old together. What if I were to offer to make you a vampire, turn you immortal? That way you could spend eternity together. But Alec realizes that he still does have the Clave ingrained self-importance of a Shadowhunter over a Downworlder, in that he wouldn't even consider being made immortal to spend time with Magnus if it meant becoming a Downworlder, giving up his Shadowhunterness. And yeah, I do wonder if there's going to be something like that happening. Also, so all throughout book 3, Clary was getting visions from the angel. This was before they actually knew about the angel blood. When she was in Alicante. Probably they were made worse because of her proximity to the angel, but she would see visions of a boy with black wings and Jace with white wings in constant battle over her. Like, they'd be like competing on the dance floor, engaged in battle, all this stuff. And for them to actually bring that into this, of her being in this dreamlike state, seeing Sebastian, well, Jonathan, with his black wings, seeing Jace with his white wings, and that being how she is shown choosing between them, that's interesting. Now, there is only 4 episodes left, which means that there is a big chunk of this story that I won't have to talk about, which is the majority of book 6 and the end of book 5. I'll probably have to touch upon it at like some parts of it, but yeah, I'm very interested to see how they're going to wrap this up. I just want to see. Apparently it was not renewed for a 4th season. Like, there was the possibility of there being one, but their partners decided not to renew it. So they might have been intending to head into that part at the end, but finding out that they decided not to renew it, they just decided to wrap everything up at the end of 3B. Because, Shadowhunters Season 3 episode, what was it, 22? When did that come out? Right, so when did All Good Things? Okay, so this apparently came out in 2019. And it was announced in June of 2018 that it had been canned. So they did have enough time to rework the ending of the final season to be an ending rather than likely leading into the final book. Because I doubt they would have been able to get a 5th or 6th season unless they were going to delve into the sequels. That could have been interesting. But yeah, so Jonathan's now free, has Clary by his side, has access to the apartment again because Liana brought that to the doors of the elevator, so they can escape that way. Jace is in an alley somewhere with a head wound. Alec and Magnus have broken up. Asmodeus is free on Earth. Yeah, a lot of shit's going down, and I'm very interested to see how this is all going to wrap up. But I guess with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.